Hi software, welcome to your video on how to find and add fonts. Much like other code along videos that you guys have seen from me, this is going to move at a little bit of a different pace than class does. I am not going to pause my talking while you guys go and figure things out because you have a pause button to do that for you. So I'm going to do my best to remind you of places where you might want to hit pause and go do things on your own. But if at any point in time you feel like you need to catch up, feel free to pause the video. You can rewatch sections, you can hit play again when you are ready. So you guys have been using text and displaying text on your canvas for some time now. A lot of you figured out things on your own that I was planning on teaching you in this unit, but there are some major things that you guys haven't gotten to yet, and one of the big ones that people have been requesting all year is how do you change the font? How do I make this look better, look nicer, not look like the default? So that's what we're going to do today in a two-part video. Right now, we're just going to figure out how to find fonts and how to get them into P5, and then the next video will be about actually using them. So the first thing you're going to want to have open is your editor window. I just have a blank editor open. You might want to rename it something useful, so maybe I would rename this Adding Fonts Code Along. And you're going to probably open several other tabs as we work through this. So in this Adding Fonts Code Along, we're actually not going to add much to our P5 sketch, but we will be doing things to our HTML page in just a minute. So you might want to click this arrow that's next to your sketch name. Click that open so you can see the sketch, the HTML, and the CSS because we will be working into the HTML. Now, the next thing we're going to be doing, and this is where in just a second you may want to pause the video, we're going to be going to fonts.google.com to look for our fonts. So again, that's fonts, fonts.google.com to look for our fonts. It's linked in your Google assignment for the week. So right now, if you want to pause the video and open a new tab with that website, you're welcome to do that. And then you're meeting me somewhere that looks like this. Once you guys get here, you will see it there. This is a font website hosted by Google. Some of these fonts may look familiar. And if you scroll through, you'll see there's a whole variety of different fonts, and there's actually way more than what's being displayed right here. If we click categories over on the side, you're going to see that right now everything is clicked, but we actually have 5 different categories to choose from. So I'm going to unclick everything except for serif and sans serif, and I'm going to explain those right now. Serif and sans serif are the main type of fonts that you use for big chunks of really readable text. If you ever read a textbook, if you read assignments teachers give you, they're probably using a serif or a sans serif font. And I know that for many of us, we don't know what the difference is, and if we were in class, we would do a bigger exploration of this. But the most simple answer is a serif is this little flourish on the end of letters. You guys can see it circled here on this red one at the bottom that says I am serif. All those little swoops, those are called serifs. Things that are sans serif, sans means without, they don't have those little swoops. That's the only difference. So all of these are fonts that are highly readable. They're great for big areas of text. And if we scroll through, they look cool. We might have preferences between them, but they're not maybe the most exciting fonts for us. To get to some of those more exciting fonts that you guys have maybe wanted for titles or to make things look really different, that's where you might be getting into display or handwriting or monospace. So we'll start with display. Display fonts tend to be things that are good for big, bold titles. You can see a bunch here. Some of them might be in different languages. And they have all kinds of different effects that you can get to. Some are different for, different reasons. Some might have a different feel or mood, and as you guys work through projects, you'll be deciding which ones you want. Handwriting fonts are pretty self-explanatory, but they look like somebody wrote it by hand, either printed or what you are more likely to see are the script fonts, which on my computer are still loading in right now. But those are the ones that look more cursive-y. You might also see block bold writing, all of those popular handwriting fonts. And then monospace is what you're used to seeing as code fonts. They look a little bit more computer-ish. They look a little bit more graphical. Some of them purposely look a little pixelated. Those are your monospace fonts. So I'm gonna pick, let's do a display in the handwriting right now. You guys, when you are picking fonts, are welcome to pick through any and all categories. You can search font names if you know font names. One thing that is worth saying is that fonts can be very expensive. Google Fonts is all free. If you guys go to other parts of the internet, expect that people might ask you to pay for fonts. So as we are looking for fonts that we want to use, I'm just going to scroll until I find one, and I am purposefully trying to pick ones that I think look really different than the default font in P5 so that it's very noticeable to you. So I like this one called Bangers. You guys might notice that this is something I actually use in my slides. I'm going to click on it. And you guys should see that there's a button that says select this style. I'm going to click that plus, and you're going to see over on the side it says selected family. I'm just going to ignore that for now, and I'm going to go back, and I'm going to select a few more. So I'm going to take Indie Flower, I'm going to select. This is also a great time if you guys want to pause and look through some of your own fonts. If you don't want to use the same ones I am using, know that the names you'll have to change in the code along, but you're welcome to use different ones. And let's also use Lobster. So I'm going to click on Lobster, and I'm going to click select this style. Once I've selected all of my font styles, I'm going to go over on the side here where it says Embed. It's going to give me a few different things. First, it's going to give me some instructions that says to embed a font, copy the code into the head of your HTML. I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to head over to the HTML part of my sketch. So I have copied that, pause if you need to, head over to your sketch, and then if you haven't already, click this arrow so you can see all three files, and click into the HTML file. In the HTML file, it told me this needs to go inside the head tag, and that's true. I see the head tag starting here on line 3, and if I scroll down, I see it end on line 9. These things inside of the triangle braces, those are called tags. They always start with no slash, and they end where there is a slash. So the stuff that I've copied just needs to be pasted sometime before that head slash, so I'm going to paste it in here. You can hit enter as many times as you want to free up white space. It won't change anything. The only thing we cannot do is delete the stuff on lines 4, 5, and 6, because that is all the stuff that is linking our P5 library to our project. So I have put in my fonts. I'm going to head back to my JavaScript, and I'm going to practice adding some text and changing the font in our next video, because I want you guys to understand how that is done. But as you guys are moving forward to that next video, please just pause here and keep this window open with the names of your fonts. You can either view them like down where it says CSS rules, or when it says review and it has all these separate names. Make sure you can see those because they're going to become really important in your next video. See you soon.